Hello, my name is Sahrial. I'm a student from University of Indonesia. I'm going to present our research about value of time or VOT and value of reliability or VOR for freight transportation in Indonesia. If we see the overall position of Logistic Performance Index from World Bank, Indonesia was ranked 46 out of 160 countries and it's still below other Asian countries. This is caused by inadequate infrastructure support, both in terms of quantity and quality, which is not managed in an integrated, effective, and efficient way, also ineffective multimodal transportation and interconnection between port, warehousing, and transportation infrastructure. In case of multimodal transportation, which involves at least two freight modes, challenges are more difficult, especially when it comes to controlling the overall network performance. This is because multimodal transportation consists of various modes which has different characteristics such as cost, time, and reliability values. To make multimodal transportation concepts more attractive and desirable than road transport that utilize only one mode, which is truck, generalized transport costs should be equal or lower. The generalized transport costs are the sum of monetary cost elements and non-monetary cost elements of a journey. The non-monetary costs can be calculated through the number of qualitative attributes that are not immediately valuable with monetary index, but play an important role in freight transportation, such as VOT in relation to the urgency of the delivery, impact on environment, etc. Compared to the transportation of people or passengers, VOT for freight transportation receives less research attention because it involves a large number of decision makers, a complicated negotiation process, and limited data. However, these values are crucial for converting the impacts of transport projects into monetary unit. VOT in freight transportation could be defined as a monetary value that decision makers, example carriers and shippers, are willing to pay to reduce transportation time when moving goods from origin to destination, whereas reliability has been defined in several heterogeneous ways. Travel time reliability intends to measure the unexpected deviation from the expected duration of travel, which travelers develop through their travel experience or from external sources. In general, there are three approaches that are commonly used to represent reliability measures in freight studies, namely the scheduling-based, the mean variance-based, and the on-time delivery-based approach. This research applies mean variance-based approach. This table shows summary of selected previous research with the number of samples, location, and the attributes that are considered in the analysis. To collect data and information, we use stated preference survey. Given the different characteristics on each island, hypothetical conditions were defined to minimize extreme variation in respondents' answer. Jakarta-Surabaya delivery was chosen as one of the hypothetical conditions. The survey was conducted in three different methods, namely computer-assisted self-interview, pen and paper interview, and computer-assisted telephone interview. These methods were selected by considering limited time, conditions, number of respondents, and availability of the resources. Some of the challenges faced are due to the COVID-19 pandemic situation, which hampered permits for pen and paper interview, while other methods also received low response rate. Several related researches were used as initial references for designing the questionnaire. One of the most important things in preference survey is that the respondent must understand the question and the available option well. Questionnaire for the survey consisted of three main parts: question related to the identity of the respondents, question related to the travel inquiries, and stated preference survey in the mode itself or within mode. To develop stated preference survey, first we need to select attributes used in our stated preference survey. Based on the literature review, we select travel cost, which is total of door-to-door cost from origin to destination, travel time, which is total of door-to-door travel time from origin to destination, and reliability, which is standard deviation of travel time. Different attribute levels were created for each attribute. The level settings for travel cost and travel time consist of 3 levels: one level of existing value, one level lower than the existing value, and one level higher than the existing value. The reliability attribute also has 3 levels, but with low, medium, and high level settings. Level for reliability is based on the study conducted by Shams et al. And Small, with some modification and adjustments according to existing condition of travel time. All attribute level will also vary depending on the mode used by the respondents. After the attributes and attribute levels were formed, the next step was combining the attributes and attribute levels to form choice set. First, orthogonal experimental design was used, so that the original 27 combination when using the full factorial design were reduced to only 9 combinations. Based on several methods of choice set creation, the sequential choice set creation method is selected with the shifting approach. However, sometimes it will be formed when one alternative is more dominant than other alternative. So it's necessary to adjust one or more of the attribute levels to ensure that there's no dominant alternative. This figure shows an example of a question in stated preference survey that presents 2 alternatives for each question, with total of 9 questions. And then, we are utilizing 33 samples that were successfully collected amidst the difficulties of conducting surveys during COVID-19 pandemic from May to June 2021. This table shows statistical characteristics of the sample. By the cooperation with logistic and freight forwarder associations, samples were fulfilled with freight forwarder made up most of the samples. As for the commodities, most of them are agriculture, plantation, and consumer goods. For the main mode, truck in this research refers to road transport, and sea refers to sea transport, which is a combination of truck and ship. From 3 attributes presented in each alternative in the stated preference survey, namely travel cost, travel time, and reliability, it's interesting to see if respondents will always choose the fastest travel time or the cheapest travel cost. For this reason, a simple analysis was carried out to find out the respondents' answer regarding this method. Of the 33 respondents, around 15% of the respondents always choose the cheapest alternative. Meanwhile, there are no respondents who always prioritize travel time or fastest options in available alternatives given. One of the popular methods used to estimate VOT and VOR in previous research is the logit model. Logit model are a stochastic discrete choice model based on random utility theory that make use of the theoretical construct of utility. Shams utilized 2 different multinomial logit models, additive and multiplicative at utility specification, and additive utility specification was adapted for this study. After getting the calculation results by forming a utility function with a logit model, the first thing to ensure is all coefficients must be negative. Smaller travel costs, travel time, and standard deviation of travel time should make utility higher, which means that the alternative is better. The average VOT for truck is about $9 per shipment per hour, and C is about $5 per shipment per hour, whereas the average VOR for truck is about $67 per shipment per hour, and C is about $25 per shipment per hour. Valuation of VOT and VOR were much higher for truck or road transport than in sea transport, which utilized truck and ship. This means that the parties involved in shipping by truck are more willing to pay more than the sea transport to reduce travel time, as well as to reduce the standard deviation of travel times. However, what should be noted is that the form value are from state preference survey within the mode itself. The within mode valuation should better reflect the valuation of decision makers, but not possible to use the models for any mode choice analysis. Findings that is quite interesting is the VOR, which is far above the VOT. Reliability ratio is about 7.1 for truck and 4.5 for sea. This condition occurs because of the dominant commodities such as agriculture, plantation, and consumer goods, which are relatively not expensive but perishable commodities. Other possibility, this condition indicates that reliability holds very important role in freight transportation in Indonesia. VOT and VOR per shipment in previous research, showing variation in values. In addition, it also shows the variation of the relationship value between VOT and VOR. However, the value obtained quite reasonable and comparable compared to the previous research. So, we can conclude that the average VOT for truck is about $9 and sea is about $5, whereas the average VOR for truck is about $67 and sea is about $25. This result also indicates that reliability holds very important role in freight transportation. The result of the VOT and VOR obtained are quite reasonable compared to other studies, also when compared between modes. However, this value is greatly influenced by the commodities delivered. There are several ways to enrich this study in the future, but the main thing is to increase the number of samples. COVID-19 pandemic gives a huge impact on data collection since the respondents were hesitant to interview face-to-face and other methods get a low response rate. Besides increasing the number of samples, other steps that can be taken to enrich this study are by adding other variables, using other utility function, or another modeling approach to get the better results. Okay, that's all for our research presentation. Thank you for your attention.